Hey, what is up guys? So we are going to be covering a new card and a new archetype as is right now. They only have 2 cards, but it's a Subterror archetype. So anyways, like I said, we only got 2 cards to go over, but I'll show you guys how it works in action. Well, with just these 2 cards. Obviously, if they get other support that completely changes the deck, then maybe this is not how the deck is supposed to be played. But for now, they look like a deck where it likes to do the flippy floppy with face down, face up. Ghost Tricks 2.0, but not really. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So first off, we got the Subterror Behemoth Stalagmo. This is level 10. It's a flip effect. You can discard 2 Subterror monster, and if you do, draw 2 cards. You can only use this effect of Subterror Behemoth Stalagmo once per turn. The second effect, or essentially his other effect, is when a face-up monster you control is flipped face down. If you control no face-up monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. Once per turn, you can change this card to a face-down defense position. And then next up we have the Hidden City. So when this card is activated, you get to add 1 Subterror monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, and you can change 1 face-down defense position Subterror monster you control to face-up attack or defense position. Once per turn, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can change 1 face-down defense position Subterror monster you control to face-up attack or defense position. Then you can negate the attack. You can only activate 1 the Hidden City per turn. So I'm thinking, like, if they attack, can you just like flip it and then they continue with the attack? I know you can negate the attack, but can you just not negate that and still flip it? I don't know, we'll have to see. I'm pretty sure that you should be able to do it because it says it's an option, but you guys let me know in the comment section if that's how it works, because sometimes, you know, for whatever reason, they're like, no, it's not how it works, we're changing our mind on this ruling, or, you know, for whatever reason, I don't know how to read. A Cat in the Hat, too hard for me, haven't finished it yet, but nonetheless, it looks like a pretty interesting archetype. Almost reminds me of like Ghost Tricks, how they like the whole defense and flip and stuff like that. So he's playing against a mill deck. We have that other like present gift exchange or whatever, where it's like your opponent discards their hand and draws 5. You know, that card supports the mill deck. Mill deck's not very meta. They probably won't see too much play in the game unless we get a lot of other like crazy mill cards. Against a deck like Lightsworn, or maybe even like Burning Abyss. Heck, Burning Abyss and Double Dantes, they can just dump cards in the graveyard relatively quick. You can maybe deck some of those decks out, but realistically, it's never been too many. Mirror Force activated against triple Stalagmo, but then he activates Book of Eclipse, then he changes the Sandstorm, the do-do-do-do. But he changes them all to face-down defense, but that doesn't really matter, because Hidden City is just like, oh, dude, I'm just going to flip up the monsters anyways. On top of this, this card can also change itself back to face-down defense position if it wants to. That guy's running Book of Eclipse to give him extra draw power, but it's funny because like it kind of it doesn't really matter against this deck because again this deck can flip itself up anyways had the opponent actually declared an attack. But against a deck like this, it doesn't really matter. Again, he's playing a mill deck. They're not too meta. The whole design of those decks is just to make your opponent send their decks to the graveyard, and then you just make it so you win because your opponent can't draw during the draw turn. Or just the draw in general. But yeah, that's the basic concept of the deck in the back. But it's cool to see, you know, people trying out new things, you know, with the new cards. Again, I don't think it's going to be too meta by just trying to deck out your opponent. Like, dude, the Destiny Defender. Yeah, I know you're giving your opponent draw like to the point where they're supposed to deck out, but realistically, you give your opponent extra draws, they're just gonna OTK you. That's just how it is in this day and age in Yu-Gi-Oh! But he makes a number C9 Chaos Dyson Sphere over here, which is a pretty decent card. You get to detach material to inflict damage, and then also you can just start inflicting damage to your opponent for all the material that you control. But he only has 8 cards left in the deck, so he does have to be careful about attacking into certain things. He's got that drag down. So again, guys, the whole concept of the other guy's deck is to deck him out. But most meta decks, if you give them draw power or put cards in the graveyard, they're just gonna be like, oh sweet dude, like I'm playing Burning Abyss, I got all these bonus effects in the graveyard, and I'm just gonna lose to like Bar Burn or something like that. But anyways, we have the super dimensional robot Galaxy Destroyer out on board, which can just blow up everything your opponent can't chain to it. Pretty cool stuff indeed. And then he's gonna go ahead and attack for game. But that's the Subterrors, guys, and we got another one for you guys. It also shows off the new Zing Synchro real quick. It doesn't really like have very much relevancy in this duel, but it's kind of cool to see the other cards you can play in the Subterror deck because we only have 2 cards as of right now, and at that point you got to mix in other things. And Amaterasu is a pretty amazing card. Watch how this just obliterates the Zing player. Watch, the comebacks are real. TV show, get ready here. Take some notes for your next anime duel here, because watch this. He attacks, boom, double of those, was that the Suwanis? Banished. Double Zing creation, banished. Like, at that point, the guy, like, you look at this and you're like, how are you going to win with just 9 branches of the Zing? Don't worry, guys. Watch the comebacks here. But nonetheless, these the Amaterasu, it does return to the hand, and like you got sometimes what happens in some of these decks where like they rely on like multiple tributes, right? Is that they have brick hands. It's just Monarchs 101, right? I know the joke with the Monarchs and the bricking, but like look at this. He's got that card he can't use. He can't use this. Like you'd be crazy to think that this other guy is gonna have a standing chance. Tributes for the Stalagmo over here. I think Amaterasu would have been a better option, but you know what? It's okay. It didn't really matter at the end of the day because you know he's just gonna go ahead and make the Yazi and then Boxia, and then there was also the Denlong. Is it Denlong? Denglong to Dugong, man. We're playing too much Pokemon Go, man. Is that even in the game yet? But anyways, Denlong, the Origin of the Yangzing, was also summoned. But like that free card that he added was pretty good. You know, the Piranha, a decent little card. I remember when this first came out, there was a lot of people like, dude, this card's so good, you can destroy all cards on the field. No one really got that effect though. But I mean, it's just because the game just got too fast, and yeah, this is pretty much what happened. But yeah, you got a Chow Fang over here, pretty good stuff, and then like is game over. But you could see like, you know, the Amaterasu was a really good card in like that deck, and you know, Stalagmo, it's just like one card. I know that they're gonna add multiple cards. We still haven't gotten like the tribute support because I don't think they're gonna make an archetype and be like, yeah, you gotta play the Monarchs. Maybe they'll hit Monarchs so hard that you have to play the Monarchs for like. In order to play Monarchs, you have to play like the Subterrors or something else like that. But anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts on the Subterror Behemoth Stalagmo and the Subterror archetype. I think it's an okay archetype. Again, we just have 2 cards, and sometimes, you know, just looking at the 2 cards, you guys can already think of crazy combos and ideas to make the deck even better. But if you guys have any crazy combos, let me know. I'll definitely mess around with some of them during live stream and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting archetype because it's like high levels, but you tribute, you set. I don't know. We're going to see. There's a, what was it called? Oh, there's a card that banished a Nobleman of Crossout. I don't know if you guys are old school enough to remember that card. That card could definitely be used against this deck. It banishes like all of them, and you get to see your opponent's deck. That's kind of cool. I don't know. You guys let me know what other like combos would either counter the deck or make the deck good in the comment section below. But yeah, kind of cool just to see something a little bit more interesting and high level. We'll have to wait and see again what the archetype gets. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I'm signing out.